Are you too busy to create content? Do you know you should be doing a thought leadership strategy, but you don't feel like you have enough time? This is probably one of the most common things we hear people say. I promise you it's a myth. You do have the time, you can make it work, and in this video, I'm gonna break down 3 ways to do that. If you like today's video, be sure to like it, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss future content. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We personally respond to them and we love talking to you. Now listen, I definitely get it. You probably are a very busy person. Running a business, working with your team, prospecting, meeting with clients, all that stuff takes up a very busy schedule. But, it's a big but, you have to be creating thought leadership content if you want to be visible and have authority in the digital age. So even though it seems like it might be impossible to fit it into your schedule, I want you to be out there creating content, educating your audience, and ultimately helping your customers be more successful through content. And having worked with hundreds of different clients on their digital strategy, today I'm going to share 3 big tips that have seemed to help move the needle so you don't feel so overwhelmed and busy, and you can actually start executing. Okay, so tip number 1 is to start small. I think a big misconception about creating thought leadership content is you need to do it all. You need to have newsletters and webinars and daily posts on social media platforms, but that's really not true. It's all about starting small, what I call the minimum effective dose. The kind of amount of content that if you put it out on a regular basis, you will start to get in front of the right audience. And when it comes to digital content, that typically means 1 social post a week. If you can stick to that schedule of posting once a week on social media platforms, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube, you'll be the top 1% of users.
Well, that sounds easy enough.
This means with that minimum effective dose of creating content, you can start to expand your reach and build your authority and show up as a trusted expert. Of course, you don't need to stop at 1 post a week, but I recommend new business leaders who are trying to get into this thought leadership strategy, if they start at once a week, stay consistent with it for let's say 2 to 3 months, and then they can start scaling up to 2 or 3 or 5 posts a week. But again, that minimum effective dose is only once a week. I'm willing to bet that 1 post a week is not that overwhelming for you to fit in your schedule. Speaking of which, tip number 2 is to time block. Now, if you're like me, time blocking only kind of works. Things push, clients call, projects change, but having that time on your calendar set aside can help you stick to a good, consistent content creation schedule. I recommend looking at your calendar, looking at your week, and looking for maybe 1 to 2 hours that you can consistently block out each week to create content. So whether it's creating a social media post, writing a newsletter, recording a video, some sort of form of creating content. For me personally, that is Monday afternoons and Friday afternoons, because that's typically when I don't have client calls. I'm able to have more flexibility in my schedule. Yes, things change. I'd say about 30% of the time I have to move that time block, but even if I do, it's helping remind me that yes, I still need to create that content. I will move it to a different time in the week, and I will stay consistent. And just because you create that content during that time block, it doesn't mean you need to post it during that time block. So you can create that post during your time block, whether it's a video or text post, a newsletter, whatever it is, and then schedule it for a later time during the week. The key here, again, is consistency. So just like going to the gym or doing your prospecting or having your team meetings, a time block on a regular basis on your calendar will help you stick with it. And finally, tip number 3 is to create based on what you're already doing. So what I mean by that is typically people struggle with what kind of content should I be creating. Coming up with new content ideas can be difficult, especially when starting out. So my suggestion is to start where you already are. Answer real questions that your clients are asking during prospect meetings or during discovery calls or during client engagements. If one person's asking it, there's probably thousands of others that are thinking it too. So pay attention to those frequently asked questions, the things that you're answering on a regular basis anyways, and turn that into content. Or look internally into your business, look into your processes, look into your documentation, look at what you're doing as far as how your strategy is being executed to serve your customers, and find an inspiration there. Walking through those processes step by step within your business and sharing them to the world helps people understand what you do, gives them clarity, and makes them more confident to buy from you. Or you can also share lessons learned. So maybe you attended a conference, maybe you saw some sort of event, or maybe even internally or within your business, working with some clients, you learned some important lesson. You can take that, repackage it, and share it as content to your audience. This is the kind of stuff that really sets you apart as a thought leader, because anyone can go to AI and say, write me a LinkedIn post, write me a blog post, and press the publish button. But true thought leadership comes from you, your experience, your authority, and your background. Creating content that's unique to you is going to make people want to follow you and make them want to buy from you. So when you're struggling with coming up with content ideas, focus on what you're already doing, focus on what you're already saying, and repackage that for your audience.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so do you feel better now? Even though you're busy, do you think you can do some content? I'm telling you right now, running a good thought leadership strategy will help you expand your reach. It will build authority in your industry, and it'll bring more customers your way. And if you use today's tips of starting small, time blocking, and creating content based on what you're already doing, I promise you the process will be easier than you think. Let us know what you're doing or drop any questions in the comments. We'd love to engage with you.